All right, welcome. My name is Paul Lekas, and I am the head of public policy and government affairs at the Software and Information Industry Association. And I am here with my colleague Bethany. Bethany, would you please introduce yourself to everyone?
Hey everyone, my name is Bethany Abbate, and I am the manager for AI policy at the Software and Information Industry Association.
Great. And today is Friday, July 25th, and we are here to talk about the AI Action Plan, which the White House released on Wednesday, July 23rd. This is long awaited. It was previewed in the president's executive order issued back in January. And there's a lot in it. And that's why we have Bethany here today to help us unpack. The AI Action Plan is organized into three sections. The first section is called Accelerate AI Innovation. The second, Build American AI Infrastructure. And the third, Lead in International AI Diplomacy and Security. Bethany, can you tell us a little bit about what led to this action plan?
Yeah, so this action plan was derived from recommendations from an open comment period a few months back, which pulled together input from over 8,000 stakeholders across different groups, so industry, civil society, academia, individuals. So this is a very comprehensive set of recommendations based on a lot of input from folks all over the country, which is really exciting.
Yeah. And so 8,000 different commenters, they couldn't put all of that content into here. The report itself is about 28 pages. The president issued 3 executive orders related to the report afterwards, and we're expecting a slew of RFIs and other materials coming out of executive branches. Tell us a little bit about what is in there. What really caught your eye in this plan?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot in here. I'll start by saying we were really excited to see an emphasis overall on the foundational role of public and private collaboration to accelerate AI innovation. The administration really recognizes the value that industry holds in this new race for AI and this new AI revolution that we're all experiencing. So SIIA members are really excited to see how much the administration is looking to collaborate with industry. Something we have been advocating for a while, and something that was a pillar of our recommendations to the action plan, was really acknowledging and supporting the role of NIST, the National Institute for Standards and Technology, their role as necessary for leading the way in U.S. technological leadership. So a couple of components here that we were excited to see in NIST's role. We're really excited to see advancing the role of NIST in terms of furthering measurement science for AI and creating test beds and prototyping for evaluations of AI systems. We're excited to see that the administration is going to really leverage the Center for AI Standards and Innovation, CASI, for national security evaluations and frontier model risks. And then also excited to see reinvigoration of the NIST AI Consortium, which SIIA is a member of. This consortium pulls together all kinds of stakeholders, and we're excited to see the work that continues to build at NIST as a result of the next steps of this action plan.
One of the core themes of this is accelerating AI innovation. That's the whole first section. There's a lot in there in terms of trying to remove red tape and regulations, and maybe we'll get into that. But also this whole kind of the infrastructure around research and development and accelerating innovation in that way. The second pillar of this report is called Build American AI Infrastructure. So what is that about?
Yeah, so in this section on infrastructure, it does not just touch on the role of physical infrastructure, so energy infrastructure, which is one huge component of this and something that SIIA has spoken to the need for, right? The need for investment in the infrastructure to support this AI development through energy and permitting reform and all of those specific components. But it also recognizes the importance of bolstering the U.S.'s cyber infrastructure for AI innovation and security, especially considering the national security risks that may arise from growing usage of AI. But it also puts education and workforce as something within the infrastructure section, which is interesting. I think it's great that the administration has recognized that the push to maintain U.S. leadership in AI depends not only on the technology itself and not only on the physical critical infrastructure, but also on the people and our citizens' ability to harness the benefits of AI. So the plan's emphasis on workforce development, including various new apprenticeship programs for students across middle and high school and university levels. It's going to prepare the next generation of leaders with the most advanced AI tools to sustain America's global leadership. And, we're really excited about this. We do want to encourage the administration to continue to ensure that resources are there for schools and institutions so they can continue to fully realize leverage the benefits of this technology. And we already saw the administration took action earlier this year on making sure that America's youth are prepared for the next AI revolution as well through other executive action that SIIA has been involved in. So we're really excited to see what builds from this as well.
Yeah, the administration is really leaning into the AI education piece. And you mentioned there was action earlier this year. There was an executive order. There have been a number of commitments that companies and other organizations, including SIIA, are making to try to advance AI education. And also something that we care about a lot is AI in the educational context. So AI to actually support educational objectives, to help teachers, to try to deal with some of the challenges we right now have in education. I think just building on something you said, the approach that they take in this action plan is looking at the AI stack in a much more holistic way than we usually do. So it's not just the chips and the models and the data, but it's also the talent, the people, and people need to be educated. And it is the power infrastructure. We need energy transmission and generation to be able to support these models. And it's also the research foundation. And I'm looking forward to seeing the national AI R&D strategy, which should be forthcoming this year and should build on some of the things that we're seeing in this space. So, quickly on the third pillar, which is called Lead in International AI Diplomacy and Security. So did anything here jump out at you?
Well, in this section, we were glad to see the recognition of the importance of U.S. leadership in shaping the global rules of the road, amid the increased global AI competition. There's a really strong focus on countering Chinese influence in international governance and in international standards setting bodies. And we're, also interested to see where the export control direction goes in terms of the international AI conversation. And Paul, I was wondering, what were your reactions to that section on export controls, and where does SIIA see the potential for more work to be done in this area?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the export control section is interesting because it definitely recognizes the need to prevent diversion of assets, especially chips. This has been a big concern, but also the need to promote diffusion of American technology. And I think there's some, this remains a murky area. And there's some further direction here in the action plan, but we are anticipating a lot more attention to this, especially out of the Department of Commerce. Something else I thought was interesting to see here is the call for aligning globally. So aligning these sorts of protection measures globally with allies, partners, like-minded nations. I think that has been a core tenet of a number of strategies on how to protect AI technology and mitigate potential national security risks. So I think it's a positive thing to see that here. Something else that really jumped out at me on the international side is on the promote aspect. So how do we promote technology? Because the administration really wants to promote American technology. And there's certainly that's a theme that runs throughout the report. But there's also this new idea of putting together industry-led consortia to export full stack AI packages. And this is a really interesting idea because we're talking about industry partners that fit at different parts of the AI stack coming together, coming up with proposals, and potentially looking to other countries to purchase those. This is something that China has been really effective at over the past 5 years in telecommunications and increasingly in AI. So I'll be interested to see what really comes of that. So we're nearing time. So I have one last question for you, Bethany, and I may answer it also, which is, did anything in here really surprise you, either that it's included or that it's not included?
Yeah, I was surprised to see that the plan didn't lean more into addressing the topic of deepfakes and digital replicas. Early on in the administration, they really set the tone that this was a priority, both for the president and the first lady. And we were really excited to see the Take It Down Act signed into law. This was the bill that criminalized non-consensual deepfake intimate imagery. And because this was such an important issue for the administration, I thought maybe they would lean into addressing it a little bit more. The plan briefly mentions deepfakes in the context of safeguarding the integrity of legal proceedings, which I thought was very interesting and slightly unexpected. We hadn't really specifically anticipated that, but it's definitely an interesting focus area within the broader concerns around deepfakes.
Yeah. Great. I found that interesting as well. The one thing I would add is that the plan doesn't call on Congress to do anything, which I found interesting. It is really focused on what authorities the executive branch has and what it can do to convene non-governmental entities, to make reforms within the government. And so I found that interesting. I think, as we know, there's a lot of activity on Capitol Hill, and we expect there to be a lot of discussion of AI legislation this year. To the extent the administration has views on that, they'll just have to provide their cues in other fashions. So thank you, Bethany. I think it's been a great discussion. Loved hearing your insight on this. And please reach out to any of us if you have further questions.